over this place. And I'm like, I'm sort of a believer, but I'm telling you,
you're becoming a believer.
I am. I mean, and it's like,
you
not
can't
like
deny it. You may not be a believer, but you can't deny it.
Yeah, exactly.
Greta had something come through her in the haunted hotel last night. Well, she's the script supervisor. She was taking notes in this whole thing, and then it pushed her. It was just like, what? It's, and having the medium there saying, yeah, this person is standing here right now and they're talking to us. It's really not like hocus pocus, but it's really freaking bizarre.
We're wasting this. Oh, well, this is our pre-show anyway. You know, it's online.
Oh, right now, yeah.
We're not live.
You know how it is.
We're not live yet.
Yeah. Are we live yet? Are we live?
Are we live? Wait, I'm pitching myself. I feel live.
Yeah.
It's always in the.
Live?
We're going live right now on YouTube. Now we're going to be live.
Oh, we're live.
What do you want to do? Yeah. So yeah, I was just saying I know. Well, that's good. It wasn't, because some of the stuff I can't really talk about yet, right?
Ooh,
but anyway, on the show, I definitely want to talk about all of us going to Denver. Okay. And about Perkins shows going on. And Scott, you've got Chili coming up. And Norwood and Kenny, update us on what you're doing.
Kenny, I got a flyer for your show too that we can pop up there.
My birthday party next weekend.
Birthday, man. Ooh.
You guys, we're about 30 seconds away from starting the show.
These nuts will be out, right?
Oh, yeah.
Scott,
can you give us a mic check? Mic check, Kenny. Mic check.
Scott,
testes nuts. Testes nuts. Testes nuts.
Scott, what you were wearing before looked good.
I had a black shirt on before.
It looked good. I was going to comment on how cool.
Well, there you go. Well, I don't have time now.
I know. I missed that. Oh my God, Perkins, are you?
Just take your clothes off, would you? Just take them all off.
No, you don't want to see what's under there, brother.
Perkins, what hotel are you at in Minneapolis?
You can't say it live. We're live. We're live.
Oh.
I'm buttoning my shirt so I can look a little more.
The stalkers are tuning in. What hotel, Perkins?
Absolutely. They're called groupies, aren't they? Groupies?
They're lurking in the bushes out in the parking lot. Even their husbands are in a car waiting for them to come in.
I met all the groupies in Madison.
Guys, guess what time it is?
What time
is that?
It is showtime. You guys ready? Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Da, 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 da.
The Rock and Talk Show, Beyond Backstage, with your hosts, Norwood Fisher, Kenny Olson, Scott Page, Stephen Perkins, Sheila Conlon, and David Moss.
And welcome to the Rock and Talk Show. This is Rock and Talk Show number 65, the bi-monthly show that dives deep into the entertainment industry, the business of it, the stories and culture around it, and everything in between. I'm the Moss Man. Let me quickly introduce my co-host. We got the one and only Scotty Page, Pink Floyd, Toto Supertramp. We got Norwood Fisher, Fishbone, Trulio Disgracious, the legendary, the one and only legendary guitarist Kenny Olson, Kid Rock. We got Sheila Conlon from the Conlon Company. And last but certainly not least, we've got Stephen Perkins on tour, Jane's Addiction, Porno for Pyros. You guys, I just want to say something. Like, we have an incredible show tonight.
Yes.
But I want to say something to you guys. Like, it doesn't matter who we have as our guests on the show, because every single week we have legends on this show right here. And I'm just so humbled to call you guys my friends, my brothers, my sister, and I love you guys all. And I'm excited to be a part of this. So tonight, though, holy crap, we got
thank you
tonight.
We got some legendary status tonight. Thank you, David.
And we got a killer, right? Tonight's going to be good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We got Rudy Sarzo.
We're seriously bringing the thunder tonight.
Yeah.
thanks to Kenny Olson coming through in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter with getting us the guests. So what's going on? What's Pert? Let's start with you. Where
All
are
right.
you? You're on the road.
I'm in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul for a night off. Jane's Addiction is still going strong. And we're dodging all those speed bumps and we're jumping over them and getting through everything.
Yeah.
And we got to hang out last night in Detroit with Kenny and his friends and play a show. Yeah, there's nothing better
awesome.
than playing. The best thing about playing is when people are out there that you can kind of go, man, I'm giving it to him. I love that Kenny's here. And so I played my heart out for you, Kenny, last night.
And I got to tell you, you were amazing. It was like you, the band, everybody. It was just, and then the hospitality for you threw out for my Detroit friends there, and they loved it. They all called me numerous times today, and yeah, that was.
We got a couple shots.
Okay,
look at that.
Mikey in front of
That's
Mike's
one of our
Pizza.
heroes, man. Our main men right there. That
he
guy.
he is the hardest working tech on the whole tour. The guy is always helping everybody, even if it's not a drum kit. He'll go out and help. We all know that. And he loves the Smashing Pumpkins. So he finishes up packing my drums as quickly as he can, and then he gets to watch like the Pumpkins every night, and he loves them. He just loves them. So he's having the time of his life. He really is loving this.
That's so great. Mikey's the best, man.
I love it.
So, I'm gonna do it again tomorrow night. So that's what I do out here. I'm on tour. It's
right.
Hey, that was the whole thing at Madison Square Garden. Mikey and I were hanging out in the sound booth, and I didn't even go backstage to see Steven.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mike. That's what I'm saying. Mike loves anything. He'll come and jam with you and watch the show. Right. But I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, and I can't wait to everybody in this little circle, besides Kenny and David, for everybody else to come see the show.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there.
I know, but you guys have seen it. I can't wait.
Got you.
I mean, it was really, but it really took me back to like, as long as we've been Rhoads and stuff. But I mean, I remember Jane's Addiction, in the very early years, and there was like this whole just vibe of like just like even Perry and him up there, just it was like, and Erica, it was right. It was like being back. It was awesome.
Well, where personalities come together that all have their own sense of soul, right? They wear their own clothes, and when you mash them all together, it makes this really cool milkshake, man. Where it's like,
what we had in common is the urge to be primitive and just be ourselves, and we still have that. We're it's a ritual. It's a ritual to get together, make that music, and let your soul out and put it out there for people to love it or hate it. But we're doing it from our heart. So
what I love too is, I always love, my first time when I heard, you and Dave playing Trip Away back in the day. And the fact that you guys played that last night was just like in Detroit too. It was just that, and that's, that's going back to some old St. Andrews Hall stuff back then.
We haven't played it in 30 years. We haven't.
That was like, I felt that was, I mean, everything was great, but like when Perry just called that out, I was just like, because I haven't seen you guys. I mean, even the last time when I saw you guys in Norwood, in Fishbone, you guys were in Vegas when we were up there recording. It was I just haven't heard you guys do that song since back in the day.
What Perry said was that this is dedicated to all the acid I've taken. I think that's he's an honest fella up there. But thanks for asking, man. I just can't wait to bring it to LA. I really can't.
Yeah, you guys get to keep that song in the set because that was.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see you in Denver. Denver coming up, and then
can't wait. Early flight.
And we have a special evening with Stephen Perkins and Scott Page at called Supermarket Nights at Choice Market, a private jam session.
Ooh,
that's going to be so
trippy.
Yeah.
How do people get to go to that, Sheila, or do they?
Yeah.
How?
Oh, how? How do you get to go to that?
How do you get to go?
You have to email me. Email me, Sheila at the Conlon Company, and I'll send you the flyer because I can't remember the address right now.
Well, that's cool.
Hey, Sheila, did you invite them?
Didn't invite who?
these nuts.
Okay.
It never stops.
Kenny, you got your birthday. Kenny, you got your birthday coming up. Talk about it.
Yep.
What's going on? What's going down?
Well, I guess they're having a little kind of came together at the last minute here, but we're having a little Kenny Olson birthday bash on November 12th at Union Street. I'm going to be going up north. I'm down in Detroit right now. I'm going to go up to my place up there next week, and bunch of my old friends and family guys that have planned a little jam session thing, and I've got to go now. They've put together this beautiful surprise thing for me, and now it's not a surprise, but I'm
not quite Canada.
That's my little cousin Jimmy plays with those guys. They're a great band. And they had a gig there, and then they found out it was my birthday, and then it kind of just morphosized into a Kenny birthday party, and it's like, oh, they're thinking about me.
So that's what that means on that. I was like, what the heck is something about Canada?
What is
I couldn't figure out what that was.
Well, that those guys, they're kind of a, more of a jam
Don't
band.
talk shit about my homeland.
They're great guys, and they're a really good band in there, but they're from up in the UP, so they call that Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where it's really cold, and you go over the Mackinac Bridge. And but you go any further, you end up going into Canada. So that's kind of their like there's some northern boys, eh?
So if you're from
coming down to the
Detroit,
city.
If you're from Detroit and you hear people say they're from Canada, or do you want them to be from Detroit? I mean, what's going on with that line? Do you guys accept each other? How does that work?
Well, the weirdest thing about the only part of Canada that is south of the United States, because of the peninsula that comes down underneath Detroit. So Windsor, Canada is actually South Detroit. So we always like that Journey song that says born and raised in South Detroit. Well, there is no South Detroit. There's Southwest Detroit, but South Detroit is the Detroit River, and on the other side is Windsor, Canada. And then, also then you're only like 3 hours from Toronto, from Detroit as well. So, that part of, it's pretty normal, and like whether Ohio or to Detroit, that area of the zone is, there's a lot of Canadians, people there. And then once you get up north, just kind of like, that border up there, like by, Vancouver on the West Coast and stuff, it just kind of,
that was a very good little geography lesson there.
I know, right?
You needed that.
I felt like Alice Cooper in Wayne's World. Well, Milwaukee is no.
What else? You know what? We've got a pretty amazing guest tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wood, you got anything that you want to shout out?
Run it real quick, because I had a pretty exciting weekend with Fishbone, playing the Hollywood Palladium with Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
No way.
That was mega ultra super badass.
That's what night was that? That was over the past weekend?
Saturday night at the Hollywood Palladium. The Cypress Hill, they're basically their Halloween bash, the Haunted Hill or something to that effect.
Amazing.
I should have got my ass on a plane and flew out there for that.
It was incredible. I've seen Cypress Hill over the years, and it's just really good to see him just go out and really deliver.
Wow.
They've always lived up to the expectations, and it's a badass show. And I'm sitting up thinking damn, Be Real, he's been at the forefront of a whole bunch of stuff. Like when he started, it was completely renegade to be who he was. Right now, marijuana is possibly will be legal nationwide one day, right?
Very close.
So hope, and he's a big part of that push.
Oh yeah,
For sure, California's recreational use, so he's iconic on that level, and Smoking Grooves, right? The tour was,
I did.
And you know what? They're one. If they don't sound like any hip hop band, but they're one hip hop. They're one hip hop band that can play in front of 30,000 people for 20 years straight and hold everybody.
Yep.
They know how to put on a big arena, big stadium shows. It's unbelievable. And then Bobo's bouncing around.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's incredible.
I
He's
saw a badass
rhythm
picture
master.
a badass picture of Jon Stewart at the end of the show with his hands up in the crowd. That was awesome. It looked good. I was bummed I couldn't make it. I was up in Portland with my grandkids.
Yep.
But,
And just so we could move, but you know, that early, I think it was early that morning. Like I looked on social media and saw like a post from Monique Powell from Save Ferris, and it was, you know, our friend and brother D.H. Pellegro, drummer of the Dead Kennedys, you know, passed away, and I reached out to her and was like, "Wait a minute, what the hell?" And then it just, you know, so I you know, you think about it every day now, like, you know, I'm gonna just say, I believe all of Fishbone went to go see the Dead Kennedys and the Butthole Surfers, 1983 turning into 84 at the Starlight roller rink.
That's right.
And that night, it was the first time I ever talked to D.H. Pellegro. He was sitting at the back of the room while the Butthole Surfers were playing. All of Fishbone descended on him because we were fans of the Dead Kennedys. That's why we're there. He was our hero. Because we could see us and him. Obviously, he, you know, black man playing punk rock. It's, you know, and so he became a friend, but he is forever my hero. Yeah. Right? Like he will forever be, you know, one of the greatest inspirations for my band to do what we do.
Pellegro, you know? Man. Pellegro.
He threw down in a time in punk rock where every drummer mattered so much.
Oh yeah.
You know, he had his own voice.
Yeah, he was a bullet. He's a hammer and a bullet up there. And you know what? He used to live at the Wilton Hilton. He rented a room next to Perry and Casey.
Yes, that's when we really got to know him.
That's when I got to meet him. And your brother and DH, we would sit around with drum pads and sticks, and I was like going, I don't believe what I'm hearing and seeing, because the chops that the DH and Fish have, you know, it was supersonic. And then also with DH had the smile from ear to ear. He'd give so much friendship and love, man. God bless him. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace, DH. And on
hey,
that note,
I got to ask Norwood a question. Norwood, are you guys going to do any more dates at Cypress Hill?
No, that was a one-off, and you know they reach out to us every now and again, and we do something like, you know, every 15, 20 years.
My first tour ever in Europe, I got to Cypress Hill, took us over, opening up for him. So Be Real showed me all the ropes of going through Europe and
Kenny,
the ins and outs.
Introduce our guest, Kenny.
Yes.
Oh, well, it's a great pleasure to introduce a very dear old friend, and a loving person, a beautiful old soul, amazing musician, a complete legend, a forefather in this rock and roll world, and my Scorpio brother. Getting long-winded. My brother, Rudy Sarzo, and all our dear friend here.
Rudy Sarzo.
Rudy! How you guys doing?
Welcome to the Rock and Talk Show, and thanks for waiting in the waiting room there for us.
Thanks for being you.
Hey,
yes.
Perk, what's up?
Good looking. Oh, so good to see you.
Oh, good to see you too, man. Yeah, awesome.
Hey, Rudy, I got to ask real quick. How did climbing on the roof work out the other day? Were you okay?
It was good. Actually, you know what? I've been feeling pretty tired lately from, you know, flying a lot and, you know, odd hours and stuff like that. And I've been home for like a week and I'm getting back to normal.
Yeah, the routine, taking care of the family, the animals in the house.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It makes you feel normal after touring to go home and like clean up stuff at the house, the apartment. You know?
Yes. I make a list.
Yeah. Where are you right now, Rudy? What part of the world are you in?
Woodland Hills, which is right next to. I'm right off Topanga and Mulholland.
Oh,
nice.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's a nice part of the area over there. Up in those
It's nice
hills.
and quiet. Yeah, we have the Topanga National Park trailhead, two houses away from me, so it's really quiet up here.
Ooh, nice.
The bass player, our friend Martijn Lenoble, who played with Porno for Pyros, he lives up at Topanga Red Rocks, and he disappears up there and brings his acoustic guitar, and it just kind of captures. It's quiet. It's that's really nice to get out of LA. I have a quick question. When you get home from tour, do you pick up your bass a lot, or do you kind of put it away?
No, are you kidding? It's the first thing I do in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of the usual, going to the bathroom and stuff and making coffee. But as soon as I make my coffee, I got my vitamins, my coffee, I got my YouTube. I go straight. Two things that I picked up. Well, actually, I picked up one, but one of the things that I've been doing for a long time is I go to YouTube to learn, expand my musical vocabulary. Yeah. And the other thing that I picked up during COVID was I was in search of the healing qualities of music. And I started going down the rabbit hole, anything from Nikola Tesla to I wound up with quantum physics. So that's what that's what the other, which is connected to music.
Yeah. Vibrations at the deepest level, right? We're just a vibration and note, right?
Yeah. We're two things. We're either waves or particles. Right. And waves is like the natural state of the universe, frequencies,
Yeah. Now have you writing some of that stuff and doing that in the 432 tuning?
Funny you should mention that. Okay. Here's my experience with 432. Back in the day before this whole thing came up, I'm talking back in the day, 45 years ago. Okay. Really back in the day, in the 70s, when I was playing with Quiet Riot, we had this little chord tuner that Randy brought, and it had a pitchfork. It was not a set tuning. So Kevin would hear the pitch, and it was every night the same pitch, and we recorded Come and Feel the Noise with that. And if you go back and listen to it and calibrate it, if you have a calibration tool, you'll find out that was really actually in 432 before before this whole 432 controversy, basically,
Wow.
And I can listen to 432 and and standard 440 tuning, and actually I can tell the difference. More emotional than actually hearing it. I feel it. I feel it.
It probably is resonating. Well, it's so fascinating. This all falls into the whole biohacking space, right? Where frequencies and stuff. So they have these things. This one guy's got this thing called the frequency rocket. We actually had it at the Ziggy Hotel for one of our last things, but it's like it goes in, and the whole idea is how the quantum, how frequencies can kind of line and help kind of create stem cells where your body creates your own stem cells. And so there's all these new technology, and it all comes down to sound and waves and all that quantum, mechanic stuff. So it's fascinating how medicine is getting in there and aligning and healing bodies by creating frequencies that make matter. So the guy says you can't change matter, but you can change how matter behaves. Right. And that's the thinking. So we're going to change this matter. And it was fascinating. The guy that was working on this was Josh. This is an interesting story. He took a heat gun and he walked up to the window at the Ziggy Hotel and outside, because it was the day, and it showed about 104 on the device, right? And then he took these things. He's like a quantum physics guru scientist guy, took these little squares like this. He put them on each corner of the window. We waited 10 minutes. He came back, hit that gun, and it was only 80 degrees. So he was basically figuring out ways to mess with matter to change the freaking behavior so that it would behave differently than it would normally behave. So that whole science is fascinating, and it ties totally into the kind of things that you're talking about, Rudy.
Well, think about it. When you go to a drum circle or go to a concert, you behave like you normally don't behave. Right. When you're at a Quiet Riot concert, you're going out of your mind. You don't do that at the dentist. You don't do it on the bus. music makes you. I mean, it's like there. It's what I remember as a youngster walking in Venice and hearing the drum circle. I was a little shy. I didn't join, but I got a good feeling. It was like a anxious excitement being closer to the drum circle. And it was this rumble that made me feel different than normal. It did. It excited. Those waves excited me. Rudy, when you're checking your bass, is it when at a big room, it sounds so different at the end of the room compared to where the stage is because the bass waves are so slow moving. How do you know what you are giving the audience, knowing all this about the waves and how music reflect in a room?
Yeah, we at the level that we're touring, it's just 4 guys. We don't have a crew. We just plug in and play. The crew is the backline company that shows up with the rig,
Yeah.
And that's it. And so what I do is I have some pedals. One of them is a 2-note pedal with IRs, impulse response of actual Ampegs that was given to me by Ampeg themselves. So it's really the best quality impulse response files that you can get. And what I do is I go into the back of the Ampeg amplifier that is supplied by the backline company. That way I bypass the front end, the preamp, which is usually what takes the most, the workload. And especially at the volume that we play at, I just use one head or one cabinet, and it's loud enough. That's it, Yeah. So, but out of that pedal, there is a DI, and what happens is, I asked the front of the house guy, it's a different one at every show. I asked him to please lean more towards the microphone that's picking up the bass tone on stage, because that's the actual tone that I'm playing to. And then I will hear recordings from the iPhones that there's a lot of click and pops and things that are not supposed to be there, just because the horns are magnifying that. The upper register.
Yeah.
Well, you've always, like, every time you and I've played live or recorded together, I mean, your dynamics and feel and your playing are it's awesome. And you have this way of articulating where, you really do become one with that track, and you take a lot of pride in that when you're playing with people. And it's, and I've always noticed with your bass playing, when you really need to dig into something, if it needs to be a little dirtier or if it needs to be clean, I've always seen you being able to do that right with your fingers and your, heart. And it's like, and I've, that's something I've always know that you pay great attention to, and it's always makes it a great pleasure. One of the great things, many great things about you. It's a great pleasure to play with.
A lot, but see, as it happens right now, I'm back with Quiet Riot, and when I say Quiet Riot, I don't even think about Quiet Riot Mental Health. I think of Quiet Riot also with Randy, because that's how the whole thing started for me. And there was a certain sound that we all had. I mean, there was less affected tone, less pedals. With the industry, they didn't even have pedals for bass players back then. So it was like a pure tone. Let's say a Fender Jazz into an acoustic or an Ampeg, whatever. I mean, there's only like 3 or 4 brands back then. You have Fender for amplifiers. You had Ampeg. You have acoustic, maybe custom. I don't know. That was about it. Nowadays, I mean, there's so many brands. So what I'm doing is, because I'm back playing those songs that some of them date back to like mid 70s, and there's a proper way that they sound in my head. That it's not just a recreation; it's an actual. I'm not trying to recreate it. I'm trying to capture the actual sound, because to recreate it would be kind of like you're recreating it. You're not doing it again. I mean, you're doing it again. You took something that was original and you're recreating that. No, I'm going back to the original sound.
Rudy,
yes.
You created it in the first place.
That's right.
Exactly.
That
I know, right?
Rudy.
Amen.
It's
Amen.
your sound. I would.
it's okay if you recreate it.
I tried to sound like you.
Well, see, you can't really recreate it unless you follow the rules of creation back 45 years ago, which is a lot of it has to do with the gear itself. I mean, anything from strings. Yeah, I changed string company because I found DR to be more accurate to the way things sounded like to me back in the 70s, you know. And when you're, you know, most of the bands are like 3-piece bands. The roots are in late 60s from Hendrix. I think Hendrix is probably the first band to go there with three musicians.
Yeah,
You got Cream, Led Zeppelin. Yeah, but Hendrix, what's the pioneer of that?
Yeah.
You know, the way Hendrix was before Cream. Yeah. It must have been.
He too was trying to make healing music too.
Yeah, exactly. And he did, you know, and there's a certain sound because it's less where musicians are not just covering us, you know, it's not just about covering the spectrum. It's also about, you know, let's say if you listen to The Who, and I know the 3-piece, you know, instrumental band with a vocalist, there's a way that Keith Moon plays, and there's a way that Entwistle plays. They're not really playing together, but it's very orchestrated.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, Rudy, I got to tell you,
Go ahead.
First of all, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
You are mean a lot to me personally. I was very fortunate to see you at the Whiskey A Go-Go it was either 78 or 79. And I was young. I was in 8th grade or something like that. I was very young. I'd seen a few concerts. Kiss was my first concert in an arena ever, 1977 with Cheap Trick. And then I saw Aerosmith right afterwards. And then I saw a few concerts. And then I got to see an arena band at the Whiskey A Go-Go. My best friend's sister took us to the Whiskey A Go-Go to see this band that we'd never heard of called Quiet Riot. We were right up on the front. Randy Rhoads and Kevin and you, I mean, blew my mind wide open. Like, it was incredible. And I just have to say, thank you for all that. But Randy, I actually have a clip from that I want to show that focuses on Randy and a song, the song Laughing Gas that you guys really, I think that's the only time that it was really played was by Quiet Riot. And then Randy would do little clips of that with Ozzy, you know, afterwards, right? What was it like for you in those moments, like in the late 70s on the Sunset Strip? And I mean, it was such an incredible experience for me that it's so profoundly marked in my DNA. I'll never forget it.
Well, one of the first things that comes to mind when you ask me that question, especially 79. 79 is when bands like Quiet Riot, and I'm going to include like an early incarnation of this is Willow. She's asked opinions about the Sunset Strip.
Willow.
and what?
Let's see Willow.
Willow's trying to promote her show at the Whiskey coming up. She's there next weekend.
Willow's a little squeaky toy.
I was going to say, Willow's really
okay,
small.
there you go. Okay, out the door. Okay.
Willow's little, and the way you squeeze her.
Okay, so you know, one of the things in 79, it was right that crossfade between what is considered classic rock now, you know, Van Halen being the last band from LA, from Hollywood, from the Strip to get signed. Then they shut the door and in comes new wave and punk. But still, we were not giving up. So we started playing the same clubs that the up and coming new wave and punk bands were playing at. And so all of a sudden, we're, instead of like being more glam rock, you know, more Bowie-ish or Queen or, you know, any of that, Mata Hoople, all of a sudden we're picking up on the punk There's an attitude. There's a whole different attitude now, which actually carried over to the 80s. The bands from the Sunset Strip. If you take Motley Crue was very, very for its time, was very punk influence. Everything, we started absorbing that. So we started playing a little bit different, a little bit more aggressive than we were. Because, let's say when you had like the whole thing about glam rock was more about pomposity, pompous and bigger than life and all that. It wasn't really like really in your face, aggressive. So we started to like, we started to like intake that energy of all the other bands that we were playing with, and I think that really helped to shape things to come once the 80s started happening. Let's say Twisted Sister, they weren't that, they were considered, hair metal, glam rock, but they were very much in your face.
East Coast,
East Coast,
face,
yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And that's another thing that I noticed once I started playing with Ozzy in 1981, and I started, touring in England.
Yeah,
all of these bands that were considered influenced by glam, they were starting to get in your face. Like Iron Maiden, one of them. Motorhead.
Yeah. Well, 1980.
It seems like Iron Maiden really kind of like Iron Maiden, Motorhead, Crocus.
Yeah.
Right?
Crocus.
There's a few others that kind of.
Except Rose Tattoo. That's another one from Australia.
1980.
That one in a while.
Think about when 1980, I was 15 or 16, but we had Back in Black, Ace of Spades, Ozzy's record, Ronnie James Dio with Sabbath.
Yeah.
It was a change in the metal guard. That was perfect age. And then we still had the moving pictures with Rush, which was like a sophisticated metal, It was like, okay.
I've got this clip that I want to show because you got to play with Randy Rhoads. I mean, arguably one of the best guitarists, and so short-lived. I mean, the guy was so young when he tragically passed away. But let's show this clip and then talk about it. It's a short little minute or so clip, and it features Randy Rhoads with Quiet Riot in 1979 at the Whiskey.
We're going to do a song now that, I'm going to be a little modest, features one of the ace guitar players in the United States. Although everyone except for all you here don't know it yet. Randy Rhoads!
I mean, when was the last time you even looked at something like that?
It keeps popping up on my feed on YouTube, so I watch it once in a while. But it's that's Randy. Well, let me go back to the beginning. When I first started playing with Randy, I realized that I was finally playing with somebody who had a level of musical integrity in the rock field like I've never experienced before. Because, I play with a lot of people with integrity, more integrity than me, more dedication to music than I had. and at higher levels. But when it came to Randy, you know, and then I find out why this is so. Well, you know, Randy started playing guitar before he started playing electric guitar. He started playing acoustic and classical music. His family had still has a music school that they built, Musonia, in North Hollywood. Randy was about academia. It was about he would teach for about 8 hours. Then he would come over to rehearsals with Quiet Riot, and we would rehearse for a couple of hours. And so he was constantly playing, teaching, learning, creating, but also integrity about music, you know, to the point that and what kept Randy at that level that you have in that video and not being able to go beyond that was the fact that that was at a time where he was in Los Angeles, and our motivation for existing as the band Quiet Riot was to get a record deal. So we were trying to please the labels, you know, the best way that we could. And that meant that we had to do a lot of compromises musically. And once Randy joined Ozzy told him, just be yourself, write whatever, you know, comes from you. And that's the Randy that the world got to hear. And it's on records, you know, with Diary of a Madman and Blizzard of Oz. And you would think that at that point, you know, Randy would say, okay, I made it, so I'm cool. I'm just going to coast. No, he went to a whole different level of musical integrity. He started taking, or actually trying to take classical guitar lessons on the road. And, you know, we would get out of the tour bus, check into the hotel in the morning. He'll take out the yellow pages. This 1981, 82. And he would start looking for local music school or you know, stores. A lot of stores, you know, also had teachers back in the day and give lessons. And he would book a lesson and wind up most of the time giving the lesson himself because he knew more about guitar than the teacher did. And when it came time, you know, and in 1981, December 30th, 1981, he was presented backstage at the Cow Palace right before our first show of the US tour for Diary of a Madman. He was presented with the best new guitar player for Guitar Player Magazine award.
I remember that.
Yeah. And, you know, that took him to a whole different level. It was more like, wow, people are listening to what my compositions and what I'm performing and everything. They're listening. So that was like the pivot point right there. He died like 3.5 months later, but in those 3.5 months later, he made a decision. Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, I was saying it's like dog years in his
skill. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. 3.5 months during that period, he had given notice to Ozzy and Sharon that he was going to leave the band and go to school and get his doctors in music. So here he is. Now he's a rock star. And he's like turning his back on it just to go back to school and get his master's.
Wow.
A lot of it was due to he did not want to record what became the Speak of the Devil record, which was the Black Sabbath re-recordings. I wrote about it in my book, explaining step, you know, day by day how things progress to get to that point, you know. And by March 19th, he had passed away, you know. But I have never since met anybody with as much integrity that, you know, I mean, I've been in situations like that I have to like bring my own integrity to the table and make a decision with my career. And but nothing like having to just quit that the touring and the recording and just go back to school, you know. And that was basically the biggest takeaway I've ever had from being in Quiet Riot. To me, it's about celebrating that integrity that I experienced with Randy, and I do my best to bring that on stage with me at every show.
Wow.
We bring
That's a
Frankie
great story.
Benelli, the Frankie Benelli into that conversation too, man, because Frankie, his drumming was as real as it got from any. I mean, he played every note the same with heart.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm so sorry for the world, and especially for you to lose two friends, two great musicians. But we have them on record, and I've seen them play. I never saw Randy, but you have been and you are part of the greatest trios, like you said, rock trios with a singer. You've done it, man, and with the
your career, Rudy, all the people that you've worked with through the years. I mean, it's like it's incredible, your career and what you've given to this music world and the world in general. The gift that you've given back is, I mean, I think about all the years, and I remember like when you and I were doing, it was one of the fantasy camps that you and I were doing, and the band that I had to fill in and put my guitar down and play bass that night. And there's a picture of Rudy, you know, like on the wall. I think we were at the Whiskey, and you know, and it's like one of his classic stage moves. I mean, like Rudy's stage moves were like, I mean, everybody wanted to be as cool as Rudy's. Rudy's stage presence was the best growing up, you know, watching. And so I go to try and imitate it after I made these guys go get me a bass because I'm a guitar player. I'm like, I need a bass to play with my camper band. And I'm like, I'm going to play this like Rudy. And I swung it and I rammed the bass right there and broke the machine and everything right before we went on. I'm like, oops. Rudy, I tried being like you and I broke the bass.
It happens.
That Whiskey show moved me so much. And at the time, you guys had no record deal. The only record was in Japan. And I remember searching far and wide to try and find that record. And there was a little record store by my house called Groove Time Records that I used to go to all the time. And I went in there and the dude said, no, but I can order it for you. And I ordered the record from Japan and it came, I probably paid like $40 for it at the time, which was a lot of money for a record, and wore that record out. Like absolutely wore that record out.
You still have it. It's probably worth way more than that now. I'll tell you that.
I wish I still had it. I wish I had all my records.
So, hey, Rudy, I want to know, how old were you when you started in music? What was your first instrument? And who inspired you? That's a compound question. Who is your biggest inspiration?
Well, I'm 72. So I started out even before the Beatles, even before the British invasion. I started out playing trumpet. And then that was too loud for the apartment we were living in Jersey. My mom used to put me in a closet. Really? Practice the trumpet.
Oh yeah, that's how we used to all practice as woodwind players. Brass players was in the closet. I had my closet, all my clothes in a little spot. Yeah.
and then trombone, but I never really got the hang of it. And then the Beatles happened. Well, actually, before that, we had Hootenanny and the Jimmy Dean Show. You know, and guitar-oriented music. You know, mostly country. And then we bought my family bought my brother and me to share an old Craftsman from Spiegel catalog. Wow. I walked into a Cracker Barrel somewhere in the Midwest, and you know how they have like all this stuff hanging on the wall. There was a replica of mine. So I took a picture with it. Wow. And awesome. So you know, but my God, I wish we would have had the learning resources that we have now. I mean, you know, I can, like today I was watching a tutorial with Pat Martino, which I've watched many different times before, but there's a certain thing that I can actually go back to tutorials and get deeper into what he's explaining. You know what I mean? So I wish I had those resources back then.
Oh yeah,
you know, I have a 13-year-old. He'll be 13 in a month, and there is a lot out there for them to dig out. But there's something magical about what we had, just us and a record player sitting on our bed, and that intimate love affair with the instrument. And there's so much for people to get, go down the rabbit hole when they're online and they get lost. And you lose a little bit of that romance. But you're right. It is a great place to find and learn from.
Well, what's so great about it is like, if you wanted to do Jocko, you've got about 10 other guys that have transcribed those solos and will walk you through every little step. They figured out all the fingerings. They figured it out for you. So then you can kind of figure out there, and then you can go back to Jocko and pay the attention to the subtleties, right? It's so great.
You guys we're go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish your thought, Rudy.
Yeah.
We're at a point where we're gonna bring in another guest.
Okay. Speaking of Jacko, I grew up in Florida, in Miami. So the local bass hero was this guy named Jacko. And I used to go and watch him perform with Willow. No. That's got a different story.
Jacko?
Okay. Performed with Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders over at the Newport Lounge,
nice.
And this is right before he did the, he joined Weather Report and make the solo record and all that. And I thought, my God, there's got to be 1,000 of guys like this Jacko guy, and where's he getting this information from? Because my information was based on listening to records, transcribing all that stuff. It wasn't like I could go to YouTube and there would be a guy explaining me what Jacko was doing that I watched him the night before. No, it wasn't like that. So
the only thing we had was 45 to 33, right? You can go 45, run at 33, try to figure it out, right?
Yeah, and my mom yelling at me, "You're gonna break the needle on the record. Stop playing it so many times."
I miss those days.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, there was nothing like walking into a club and watching Jacko play, because he improved every night. It's like if I saw him, last week, I know I'm going to see a Jacko getting closer to the Jacko that became a legend.
Right.
Every day you would do that. Yeah. Amazing.
One quick thing. I've been lucky to play with some great bass players. Norwood, millions of times with the Wood. I've played with you once or twice, Rudy. And it's like wonderful. It's great playing with you. I'm happy to be a drum piece of your life, and I love you, man. Thank you for joining us.
But I can't wait to play with you again, because I'm much better than the last time you played.
But you do have your own this unique, cool sound with that right hand, the way your finger and the strength I see in your fingers. It's like, being a guitar player, but messes around with bass. It's like, I'm always watching your right hand and what you're doing. And it's just, but it creates this awesome, it's your sound.
Rudy, you okay if we go maybe a little 10 minutes, 5 minutes past 6:30? Okay, so listen, right now
you're going to get your mind blown now, Rudy. I'm just going to tell you right now, you're going to love this. Wait till you hear this.
This is the time of the show where we bring in our sort of up and coming artist.
New talent.
I don't know if you've heard of Jack Barksdale, but this is 15-year-old Jack Barksdale from Fort Lauderdale. Where are you? Not Fort Lauderdale. You're
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, Texas.
Texas.
Jack, welcome to the Rock and Talk Show.
Yes, welcome, brother.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me.
Yeah.
How are you, Jack?
I'm doing well.
So tell us a little bit about Jack. When did you start playing? Because you're 15 years old and you sound like, you've been playing for 50 years already.
Well, I've been playing for somewhere around 8 years now. And I love it, and I love getting to probably been writing songs for about the same amount of time, and
who do you listen to? Who do you listen to?
Yeah.
Jack?
Well, I listen to a whole lot of different genres and musicians and artists. I love a lot of really great songwriters like Leonard Cohen and Townes Van Zandt, John Prine, and then lately I've been getting into some Tom Waits stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I love a lot of old blues music, and like a blind, even towards a ragtime guitar, like a Blind Boy Fuller and
Yes.
Reverend Gary Davis, and
Busy. Do your folks?
Are you a
play?
Lenny Bro fan by any chance? Or have you ever heard Lenny Bro?
no, I don't believe I have.
All right, so you gotta look that one up. Lenny Breau. You must go to check Lenny Bro out.
I will.
You will be
Thank
very
you.
happy. You'll be very interesting. You'll see.
Wow, you've let some serious awesome ingredients pour into you from so many great influences. Oh, that's wow.
And
At your
we're,
age, that's
we're gonna
awesome.
go a little bit longer, a few minutes longer than we normally do, because you know, we were so excited that we could talk for days with Rudy and still not have enough time. But we want to give you the spotlight right now,
Let's
Jack.
do it.
Yes.
So go ahead
Do
and
it.
tell us what you're gonna play. Give us a little something what you're gonna play, and go ahead and play it, and then we think we might let you play another one afterwards. So go ahead and tell us about it.
Well, this song I'm about to do is one I wrote called "Isn't It Crazy," and it was I'd been listening to like ragtime guitar and Piedmont blues music, and I wanted to write a song kind of in a similar vein, and I ended up writing this song. Yeah.
All right, stage is yours.
Isn't it crazy that right now will be nothing but a memory, nothing but a memory. Isn't it crazy that in your head you're the most important person on this earth? Isn't it crazy that to someone else you're no more important than a speck of dirt? Isn't it crazy that God made this world in a little less than a week? Isn't it crazy that this entire week I haven't done a single thing? Isn't it crazy that all the normal folks wanna be a star, when all the stars just wanna be normal folks, trading the fame and fancy cars? Isn't it crazy that little pieces of paper can decide if you're rich or poor? Isn't it crazy that if your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents hadn't met, you would not have been born? Isn't it crazy that we're all gonna die one of these days? Isn't it crazy we only got one life, yet we still waste it away?
Wow.
Whoa, buddy.
Wow.
I am blown away beyond
away.
even
Wow.
words could even say. What the,
Wow.
oh my God.
What did I just see?
Yeah,
What
right.
did I just hear? I'm
you
telling
told
you.
me, Scott. You said it, Scott.
The
at
lyrics.
beginning, really. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I mean,
the
just
lyrics
lyrics, sophistication, simplicity. I mean, it's the dude. You made my day.
I'm
Thank
already your
you
number
so
one
much.
fan, brother.
Right?
Your lyrics are firmly your lyrics are firmly in the realm of philosophy. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yes.
Aw, thank you
I
so
know.
much.
You just like, oh, thank you, Lord. You just took me to like church and all over the world. Oh my God, that was just.
And that tone of your voice and the way you sing too is just cool.
Are you hip to Elizabeth Cotton?
Yes, I love Elizabeth Cotton.
Yeah, that's what came to mind, bro. It's
Aw,
awesome.
thank you so much.
You are an old soul. What's your astrology sign? I'm curious.
I don't know what
When's your
my
birthday?
astrology sign-
Right.
Is that
What's your
my-
birthday?
my birthday is June 28th.
You are a
Wow.
Cancer.
Cancer. All
Cancer.
You're a
right.
water sign. Like I'm water
See,
sign.
I knew
Yep.
he was good.
I mean, it's just
Wow.
it's kind of mind blowing. I don't think I've ever seen
Mm-mm.
your sound and style is so unique and so sophisticated. It's
Yeah.
really special. Thank you for joining us.
The
You got
voicings
another
that
one? You want to do another? Let's do one more. I know you're.
Yeah,
you want to
I'm demanding an encore.
Yes, the encore.
I'm standing up
Right,
right
Rudy?
now.
How about that, Rudy? Isn't it? Gives us
What do you
hope.
think, Rudy?
Hope.
Great. Loved it.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Tell us? I know you have a new single out, or
Mhm.
you do whatever you want. It's really up to you. Like, go
Yeah,
ahead.
for sure I'll play that song. Yeah,
Tell us about it.
this is a song I wrote called Gone, and I just released it as a single, and did a cool video for it, and I kind of based the song off of a couple different depictions of voodoo that I had seen in movies and TV shows and stuff, and yeah, here it is.
All right.
The snakes are hissing in the den. My mind's rolling over round and round again. You better get ready, 'cause if you don't win, oh, you're good as gone. You're gone, oh yeah, you're gone. Knew this would happen before long. The effects are instant, the effects are strong. Oh, you're good as gone. Their smoke is laced around your body. You've already lost. You must try to break free. No matter the cost, they've washed away your smile in a bucket of sin. I wish you the sun every now and then. You're gone, oh yeah, you're gone. Knew this would happen before long. The effects are instant, the effects are strong. Oh, you're good as gone. You're walking down this endless road, lost in a trance. They've blinded your thoughts, they aren't gonna give you a chance. Where are you headed, boy? You ain't gonna leave. Soon you shall see, yes you shall see. You're gone, oh yeah, you're gone. Knew this would happen before long. The effects are instant, the effects are strong. Oh, you're good as gone. Oh, you're good as gone. Oh, you're good as gone.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
You're an old soul. Did you listen to? Do you listen to Screaming Jay Hawkins too? You ever listen to him?
I've listened to a little bit of his music.
Yeah.
You play any other
wow.
instrument besides what you got on right now?
I play a couple different instruments. I play a little bit of mandolin,
Beautiful.
some lap steel, dobro, just a couple of chords on piano, and
Are
Have you written a
self-taught?
song with the Have you written a song with the piano yet?
no, I don't have I don't own a piano right now, but
I would love to hear what happens when you get behind a piano.
I know, right?
yeah.
Oh, man. Oh boy.
It's crazy. That's the phrasing, the way you phrase things and the way you lay stuff back and the way your time is cool, the way you swing with the way you sing and play. It's very cool. Very, very
I'm going to
Thank
put
you
in a
very
word, and you
much.
need to go out on the road. You and Billy Strings. You'd be a perfect
Oh, that'd
act
be
to
cool.
open up for Billy.
yeah.
That's amazing. Are you self-taught, or you take lessons, or?
No, I started taking lessons when I was 7, and I got lessons for about 4 years, and then my guitar teacher that I'd had for maybe a couple years at that point, he went on tour, and after he came back, we just never really set up another lesson, and I haven't had really a proper lesson since then, I guess.
Wow.
He left on tour because he knew you were going to be better than him.
Okay, I'm gonna go now. I gotta
No,
save
you did a
some
great
face.
job actually, because
Kind of.
knowing you're playing like all the old true way to play guitar, the voicings and the chords you're using. That's an art that's been missing, and a lot of musicians today don't even understand or know how to do that. And thank you for.
That's what happened with
saving
Randy
that.
Rhoads, right? Randy Rhoads was taking guitar lessons from his teacher, and his teacher got to a point where he said, "Randy's basically teaching me." And well, listen, I mean,
one thing, Rudy, can you give any advice to this young man?
Yeah. I love his phrasing and dynamics of when you do play with a drummer. If you ever play with a drummer, make sure that you guys are in sync with your own internal clock. Find that drummer. I think Perka would be perfect.
Perfect. Perkins is the man right there. You found your drummer tonight.
That's
You'd be
great
perfect.
advice. Rudy always gives the perfect advice. Thanks, Rudy.
perfect advice. Well, listen, everybody, and first of all, Rudy Sarzo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I got a quick question for Rudy. Rudy, you got any dates coming up that you guys are going to be doing this year?
Yeah. We're going to Mexico, November 18th. We're playing the 19th, and playing in Mexico. We're doing the Coyote Harley Davidson Festival. And we're headlining that one, and then we're doing about 5 more shows in December, all over the place. You can go and visit Quiet Riot Band online, and we have all those posted. And then we pick it up again in January, and it's every day. There's more shows.
You guys recording it all? Some new stuff?
Yeah, we've done some stuff. Yeah, we got some surprise coming up. And that's all I can say.
And you have a book too, right? Your book? What about your book?
Yeah, Off the Rails. That's available on Amazon. Anything that you want to know about my experience with Randy, both Quiet Riot and Ozzy, it's all in that book.
Wow.
I have a request, Rudy.
Norwood, yes.
I have a request. Just
yes, sir.
Please gift the world with however you want to express your sound healing knowledge. Like put it to physical use for the world. That's my request.
And that's my same request for you. And I have a question for you. How can you keep that hat looking so cool? I want to know.
I thought he was going to say, "Hey, Rudy, if you need a sub."
I want, like, when he spoke of the sound healing thing, that resonates with me, and I'm like, I'm like with your history, your relationship to music, like and like all music is capable of healing. It's like if you look at comments on YouTube, you look at Slayer, you look at like the mentors. Somebody's like, this band saved my life. You know,
that's true. That's true.
It's something,
That's true.
Very true.
Something everybody's doing in music connects with people.
Great
And
point.
we all may not be able to see it sometimes, but you know, it's like there's somebody that was like in the 70s and the Bee Gees saved their lives. You know what I mean? Like all the expression connects to something, but what you're speaking of speaks of because Scott heard you and went further into the concepts, you know, like Rudy Sarzo levitating you know, pyramid bricks with bass sound, you know.
Yeah,
That's how they built the pyramids, man, with the
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're right on, Norwood. Right on.
Well,
Yeah.
again, I want to thank both Jack and Rudy for joining us. Jack, we're excited to follow your career and watch you continue to grow and blossom, because you're already just something really special.
Yep.
Rudy, thank you. Last week we had Brent Hines from Mastodon and Familiar Faces. We want to thank them for joining us.
great band. That was a great band too.
2 weeks we've got another show coming up. Jack, where do people find you and how do people find you?
Well, I've got my website is jackbarksdale.com, and I've got all my show dates there, and there's links to all my social media, and I'm on all streaming platforms and all that. So
amazing.
Jack, Jack, I would like to at some point reach out to you, and I want to connect you with somebody that I think could be there's something telling me I need to connect you with this particular person. I won't say it right now.
I'll make sure you guys are linked up. Anyways, again, don't leave. Jack, don't go away. We're going to play a little outro. Rudy, don't go away. Thank you for spending a few extra minutes with us.
Yes, thank you.
And 2 weeks we'll be back. But until then,
There's Greg Bissonette.
See you next time on the Rock and Talk Show Beyond Backstage with your hosts Norwood Fisher, Kenny Olson, Scott Page, Stephen Perkins, Sheila Conlon, and David Moss. Executive producers Sheila Conlon and David Moss. Producer and director Eric Lloyd. Assistant producer and creative director Mark Armentano. Editor Graham Cooper. Theme music by ThinkX. Sponsors IK Multimedia and Lewitt Microphones. Artist Relations TPI Films. Special thanks to From the Earth, ThinkX, The Conlon Company, and Mac. Check us out on YouTube/The Rock and Talk Show, Facebook and Instagram at The Rock and Talk Show.
all right, next show, November